Here we go now.
I forgot to add myself back to the stage. I don't know. A few things changed. I don't know what happened, but it's okay. Welcome back to the Kempire channel. Let me know if you guys can hear me, see me, all that good stuff. Let me just turn all this stuff for some reason. Some of the things change. Oh, it's the Holy Ghost fire, probably. Anyway, guys, welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. I'm going live again because there was some more breaking news. There was a press conference from the police department and the DA's office. There was also an update in regards to Wendy being removed from, as you know, Wife Swap was returning with a Real Housewives edition. She was one of the housewives that were included. Variety is now reporting that Wendy's episode has been nixed. Done. They're not going to show it. I'm actually surprised by that. And the Osefos have released a statement. Let's start maybe with, okay, first of all, let me know where you guys are watching. Shout out to everyone that's in the live chat already. Thank you so much, Natasha, for becoming a member, Brielle for becoming a member as well. If you haven't already, you can become a member at teamkempire.com/join. You can also support just by liking today's video. I did do a separate video earlier, a separate live, where we broke down this story too, including we went through the court documents. Now, in the press conference, they basically outlined what we read in the court documents. But if you want a full update, also some really great perspectives from our community and attorneys within our community sharing their thoughts on what this means exactly. So the last live that we did would be worth listening and watching as well. All right. I see all of you. Some of you are watching from Ohio, London, Dallas, Alabama. Let me see. From the gym. I love that too. Bama's in the house. Cleveland, Ohio. We've got St. Louis is in the house. Woodridge, New Jersey's in the house. Georgia's in the house. What's going on? Bay Area. Cali via Charlotte. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And if you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions and also where you're watching from. Shout out to those of you watching on Twitch. I see you guys. Make sure you're following me on Twitch, twitch.tv/TheKempire. And we are live on Facebook, TheKempire and Kempire Daily on Facebook. And we're live on X. And of course, we're live here on my YouTube channel. If you're not following me in those places, you should. Sometimes we do separate lives, separate content for those particular channels. All right. Johannesburg, South Africa's in the building. Ty came over from TikTok. Shout out to anyone that's new here on YouTube, but I was just live on TikTok talking about this. And so our TikTok community already knows this update, but I'm going to give it to you guys here so it's recorded properly in regards to the update when it comes to Wendy Osefo and Eddie Osefo being arrested yesterday afternoon in their home. This is all tied to an alleged burglary that they reported last April. They're, according to the charges that they're facing, multiple felony charges and a misdemeanor for basically lying to a police officer, giving misinformation to a police officer. These charges are stemming from that burglary. They're claiming that the Osefos fraudulently claimed that there were certain items that they claim were stolen in this burglary. They're claiming that those items, according to the court documents, that those items were actually bought and returned, and they received a full refund, yet they still put it on as something that was stolen. They also allege that Wendy, like their, I guess, jewelry, diamonds that she claimed to 3 different insurance companies. You can't do that. You can't claim the ring at this insurance company, at this other insurance company. They're claiming that, oh, she was caught on social media wearing said jewelry that she claimed was missing. Honestly, them removing her from White Swap might be in her best interest, because God only knows what we will see in the home. For those that didn't know, they're now saying that the episode, Wendy was supposed to be episode 1. They're now saying that she will not be a part of it. So that's probably in her best interest. Or maybe this is something that they requested. I don't know. But matter of fact, let's get into that first before we get into Wendy and Eddie's statement. This is coming from friends over at Variety. They report this, that, please hold. They report this, that the Real Housewives of Potomac star Wendy Osefo and her husband, Eddie Osefo, were indicted on October 9th in Carroll County, Maryland, on multiple charges of fraud. Following the news of their arrest, Bravo pushed the series premiere of White Swap, the Real Housewives edition, to October 21st. It was scheduled for October 14th. Each episode showcases a, quote, swap between a Real Housewife cast member and an ordinary civilian, and Osefo and Eddie Osefo were to be featured in the first episode. A spokesperson for Wendy emailed the statement to Variety and TMZ. This is the statement from Eddie and Wendy in regards to their recent arrest. For those that didn't see the mugshot, here it is. For a reminder, this is the mugshot. This was them. I know a lot of people are like, they look high. I don't know. I don't know why they're smiling. Sorry. So this is Dr. Wendy Osefo and her husband, Edward Osefo's statement. They said, Dr. Wendy Osefo and her husband, Edward Osefo, are back home safely with their family and in good spirits. They are grateful for the outpouring of concern and support from friends, fans, and colleagues. The Osefos, alongside their legal team, look forward to their day in court. At this time, they respectfully ask for privacy as they focus on their family and the legal process ahead. TMZ was the first to report that the Osefos had been arrested on insurance fraud charges, according to the court documents from Carroll County, Maryland, obtained by Variety. The charges allege that the Osefos falsely claimed to have been burglarized in April of 2024 and that items from their home were stolen, designer bags and jewelry. They then submitted 3 separate insurance claims, estimating that $450,000 worth of goods had been stolen, according to the documents. They were indicted on slightly different charges. Wendy was indicted on 7 counts of insurance fraud, 8 counts of conspiracy insurance fraud, and 1 count of false statement to a police officer, totaling 16 charges. Eddie was indicted on 18 total counts, with 1 extra count on the insurance fraud and the conspiracy insurance fraud charges. So apparently, investigators appear to have been suspicious from the start of the burglary that the Osefos reported on April 7th, 2024. The Osefos had been in Jamaica and claimed to have returned home to find their bedroom and both closets to be ransacked. However, their ADT alarm hadn't gone off and their Ring camera hadn't detected anything. I just don't understand if this is the situation, if this is what they actually did. This was not very smart at all. This was not smart at all. Let me play for you, because the press conference really reiterates what the police department and the DA feel about this situation. So there was a press conference earlier today on Facebook from the police department. So let me play for you a clip from that. Shout out to our friends over at OMFG Reality Television. They were able to get a clip of it. Let me just play this for you guys, please, and hold.
Of Wendy and Edward Osefo of the 1900 block of Turnberry Court in Finksburg, Maryland. Both Wendy and Edward are reality actors in the series The Real Housewives of Potomac, Maryland, which is filmed partially from their residence in Finksburg, Maryland, an hour away. On April 7, 2024, at approximately 10:13 p.m., deputies responded to a residence in the 1900 block of Turnberry Court in Finksburg for a reported burglary. Edward Osefo called 911 to report the burglary. Edward and Wendy Osefo, both from Finksburg, live at that address, and they have 3 school-aged children. They reported that their home had been burglarized sometime between April 2nd and April 7th of 2024 while they were on vacation in Jamaica. The house would have been vacant at the time with no one house sitting. No one had a key to the residence, according to the Osefos. The Osefos claim that designer handbags and jewelry valued at more than $200,000 were missing from the primary residence bedroom upstairs. Responding patrol deputies handled the burglary according to policy and made contact with investigators with my major crimes unit to assist because of the dollar amount that was stolen. Crime scene investigators came to the scene the night of the report to process the scene for fingerprints, DNA, and anything of evidentiary value. And while I'm there, I want to thank the state police. They actually responded, and the superintendent of the state police, Colonel Butler, I want to thank him for working with us on the case and providing resources. It should be noted that the residence does have interior and exterior surveillance cameras. None of the cameras picked up any motion or any.
Did you hear that? So they had an ADT system within the home to show any sort of activity. They also had a Ring camera. According to the police, they're saying that there was no activity.
Indicated a breach inside of the house. Cameras also did not pick up any suspicious activity outside of the residence during the time the Osefos were away from the residence. Detectives also checked surveillance cameras from neighbors. No evidence of a break-in or suspicious activity was noted at the Osefos' residence. Patrol deputies and detectives found no signs of forced entry or physical evidence of a burglary, such as footprints, fingerprints, or any entry point. The Osefos alleged that the burglar came in through a second-story window into the master bedroom. There was no evidence inside the residence that someone made an attempt to get into the residence through that particular window. No evidence indicated that anyone attempted to enter the house. The bedroom upstairs where the theft occurred was ransacked. The mattress was thrown off of the bed onto the floor to give an indication that a burglary did occur.
Pause. So when did they do that? Did they do that when they came home from Jamaica? They came home and they ransacked their own place, allegedly. Again, everyone's assumed innocent. Did they come home from Jamaica and ransack their own home? Because again, the ADT system is saying that there was no activity. So it's not like they allegedly hired anyone to come in and do any of that. I don't know. Someone said before they left. So was that the plan the entire time?
Initial responding deputies again called our investigators because of the high dollar amount that was stolen. After the initial report, following days, we made contact with 3 separate insurance companies that the Osefos used to insure their property, which is common with this loss that this type of loss that detectives actually communicate with insurance companies to share information. In the days following.
Did y'all hear that? How the insurance companies and the police department work together and they share information. So this is how they pieced all of this together.
In the initial report, the Osefos contacted detectives several times to provide additional information about the alleged burglary, evidence, and missing items. They also reported the loss to their insurance company. Again, the Osefos alleged and claimed that just over $200,000 in items were stolen from the burglary. Weeks after the alleged burglary, detectives discovered Mrs. Osefo had posted photos on social media wearing jewelry that matched items she had reported stolen.
That part has to be the dumbest part of the situation. No matter if we want to presume that they're innocent, one thing I guess we can assume is a fact is that you claim that you were missing this ring, this jewelry, yet you still wore it in a public space where you're being photographed. I mean, I thought Wendy was smart.
Specifically a diamond anniversary band. Detectives were provided receipts by the Osefos for the loss of items that they had purchased dating as far back as 2018. On those receipts were email addresses. We had become suspicious that this was a false claim. On those receipts were email addresses, which detectives authored search and seizure warrants that they could access both the Osefo's email accounts to attempt to acquire more evidence. The emails provided additional evidence that indicated this was a fraudulent claim, specifically Edward's communication with Wendy, and I quote, "Are there additional high-value items we can add to this inventory list? I'm trying to get the total to exceed $423,000, which is our policy maximum." Over the next several months, detectives worked diligently to verify the information provided and to locate the reported stolen property. It was later confirmed that Mrs. Osefo had returned several of those same items valued at over $20,000 to the place that she originally purchased prior to the alleged burglary. We can see as far back as 2018 and several items that had been purchased in 18 and receipts supplied to the insurance company, only those items had been returned to the purchaser or to the store that she purchased them from during the window in 2018 of the return policy. Meaning if it was a 90-day return policy back in 2018, she actually returned those items within that 90-day period. Those receipts were supplied to us, and those receipts were supplied to her insurance company.
So did they, when they were applying all these different receipts and things like that, did they go back and they found these receipts and they was like, okay, we're gonna ask for this back? Again, let me play devil's advocate and give grace here. Did they think that, oh, I'm missing this item and make a mistake? That's also possible. Made a mistake like, oh, wait, I forgot I did return that. I could see that. Trying to get some grace.
And were alleged by the Osefos to be stolen in the original burglary. Based on the thorough investigation conducted by detectives in my office in coordination with the Carroll County State's Attorney's Office, it became clear that the Osefos had fabricated the burglary and filed a false report and attempted to fraud their insurance company. On October 29th, 2025, the case was presented to Carroll County Grand Jury, which returned indictments against both Edward and Wendy Osefo on multiple counts of fraud and false reporting. Both individuals were located and taken into custody at their Turnberry Court address on the afternoon of October 9th, yesterday, by the Carroll County Sheriff's Office detectives.
Sorry.
Deputies executed a search and seizure warrant at the residence during the arrest. An additional 15 items that were believed to be reported stolen by the Osefos during the initial report were also located during that search and seizure warrant. Those items included jewelry and high-end handbags. The Osefos were booked into the Carroll County Detention Center and later released on $50,000 bonds, on $50,000 bond. Real quick, I'd like to acknowledge the work that my office did, Detective Richie Harbaugh. My detectives, they're just absolutely amazing. Richie's one of the finest detectives on the planet. High praise for him. Also, the Carroll County State's Attorney's Office, Mr. Shoemaker, Mr. Culver, and Melissa Hockensmith is who handled the case for the State's Attorney's Office and has been working with us diligently on this case. I'll now turn it over to the State's Attorney if he has some comments, and then we'll answer any questions you guys may have.
Okay, good afternoon. In response to the various media inquiries that I've gotten today in connection with this matter, I've indicated to everybody, and I want to emphasize it again, as a threshold matter, that all persons are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So I want to get that out front. As the sheriff indicated yesterday.
For those that are just joining us, we're playing the press conference that they held today in regards to Eddie and Wendy Osefo. So, and I'm so glad you said this, Demi, because literally the state attorney confirms what I said during my last live. We should not downplay what they allegedly did because it does affect everyday people. He does talk about that. So when you say it's giving the Chrisleys, because a lot of people like to downplay what the Chrisleys did, like, oh, it didn't hurt anybody. you don't even realize that it is actually hurting you. It's crimes like this that actually hurt you, people that work hard for your money. But I'll let him speak.
The defendants were indicted by the grand jury for Carroll County in connection with Wendy Osefo. It was 7 counts of insurance fraud, 8 counts of conspiracy to commit insurance fraud, and 1 count of false statement to a police officer. They posted bail this morning. So also in addition to what the sheriff alluded to.
Pause. So they posted bail this morning. That means that they were arrested yesterday, guys. They spent the night in jail. That's why they had on the jailhouse matching outfits. They spent the night in jail last night. So who took care of their kids? I'm assuming maybe her mom, maybe Eddie's family. Wow. So they spent the night in jail.
A few moments ago, I'd like to note that the investigation in this matter, and I certainly want to give props to Detective Harbaugh, who worked in close proximity with my Deputy State's Attorney, Melissa Hawkinsmith, in connection with this matter. But the investigation determined that on April 8th, 2024, the Osefos initiated 3 separate insurance claims for the alleged burglary and theft that occurred at their residence. And those were against Travelers Insurance, Jewelers Mutual Insurance, and Homesite Insurance Company for their alleged losses. Mr. Osefo gave recorded statements to 2 of the insurance companies regarding a list of stolen items. He was also asked whether any of the items on the list had been returned, which he denied. He was asked if he had other insurance, but failed to disclose to Homesite and Jewelers that he was also making a claim with Travelers. For a Homesite insurance, both Edward and Wendy signed a sworn statement of loss, which was notarized. The total amount of loss claimed on the sworn statement of loss was $2,500 for the damage to the building itself and $450,000 estimated for contents and personal property. He included an inventory of reported stolen items along with receipts for the purchase of most of the items on the inventory. That claim was denied due to the failure to disclose the policy with Travelers. And in the original claim submitted on April 8th, 2024 to Travelers, Edward is alleged to have confirmed that he and his wife were wearing their anniversary bands when the loss occurred. However, Edward called Travelers on April 10th, 2024, and said he needed to update their claim, stating that his wife's gold diamond anniversary band was missing. So that same day, Travelers settled the claim for $25,380, which included the replacement price of the band, which was $4,500. After the initial reported claim on April 11th, both Wendy and Edward signed and submitted letters to Jewelers Mutual claiming the burglary occurred and items were reported stolen. At the request of Jewelers Mutual, the Osefos provided an initial list of 57 stolen items. Included on the list was Wendy's gold anniversary band that was reported in the Travelers claim. On April 22nd, Edward was interviewed during a recorded call and did not make any mention of the jewelry claim or payout with Travelers. So essentially, I know that the burden will be on my office to show that Edward and Wendy conspired to make fraudulent statements and provided misleading information in support of making the 3 insurance claims for financial gain. I'd also note that Some folks may view insurance fraud as an innocuous crime since
Listen to this.
it only affects insurance companies. That's certainly not true. Insurance fraud affects all of us in the form of increased premiums that we all bear, so we take those offenses very seriously. Thanks.
So that was the press conference that was held earlier today, maybe like a couple of hours ago, that they held on Facebook from the Carroll County Police Department. That was the DA speaking out in regards to Real Housewives of Potomac star Wendy Osefo and her husband, Eddie Osefo, being arrested for insurance fraud and lying to police. Not only that, the Osefos have released a statement. We read the statement. I'll remind you what they said in their statement to the press. The Osefo said via their spokesperson, Dr. Wendy Osefo and her husband, Edward Osefo, are back home safely with their family and in good spirits. They are grateful for the outpouring of concern and support from friends, fans, and colleagues. The Osefos, alongside their legal team, look forward to their day in court. At this time, they respectfully ask for privacy as they focus on their family and the legal process ahead. This also comes after the news that Wendy's episode, she was supposed to be the first episode of Wife Swap, the Real Housewives edition. It was supposed to premiere October 14th. It's now going to premiere October 21st. They are removing Wendy's episode, which is probably a good thing because it makes me wonder if there was any incriminating evidence that might pop up in the episode. And maybe production, the network, they were like, we don't want any parts because they're filming in her home. So I could see them like, we do not want to be involved. However, you might still get involved because you already filmed. So they might want to see that footage. Ooh, they might want to see that footage. But apparently that footage will not see the light of day on Bravo. Yeah. All right. But I had more because we mentioned this during our live earlier. We did have a live with the breaking news. So there was a full live. We had great callers, everything like that. But I wanted to play the clip of Candiace. Candiace, when this news broke, so keep that in mind. When Candiace found out about this, she really had no other details beyond what they gave her in the moment. She was being interviewed, and this was her speculation.
I am shocked. I'm sad. You know, it feels to me, we've just, gone through the Karen Huger of it all. Mm-hmm. Karen just came home. Karen paid her debt to society, but one might opine that, perhaps Karen was made an example of. And I am now, as I'm literally just getting this news with you all, that's my first thought is $300 and we're
pause, in excess of $300, but she may have missed that part when the broadcaster mentioned it before this. If you saw the full interview.
Arresting a mother and a father, business owners, entrepreneurs. We don't know what the charges are for, but we know that the Osefos have a very successful marijuana business. Mm-hmm. They are providing jobs and opportunities for people of color in the area, in the DMV. And so my first thought is, are they being targeted? Is this something that we should be thinking about? And I obviously I know the Osefos. I know their children. I know her family, and I'm heartbroken. Like I'm shaking because we're just finding this. I can't imagine.
So here's the thing. In regards to the Karen aspect of this, I'm not going to sit here and act as if, because she does later say in this clip that she feels like these women, Karen Huger and Wendy, are being targeted. Again, she doesn't know the full details at the time of the interview. However, Karen's fourth DUI does not make her a target. If anything, she fell through the cracks and probably should have went to jail a long time ago. We're not going to sit here and make excuses. We might enjoy Karen on the show. She might be a lovely woman. I've met her before. Very lovely. This was her fourth DUI. This is not a scheme that Todd set up for the police department to come to us with the BS. And no one's saying that the police department's innocent either. However, her fourth DUI. But some might speculate, is someone after Eddie because his weed business is successful? I mean, based off of the government's evidence or the state's evidence, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Again, that is their evidence. Again, if you missed it, we had two fantastic attorneys that are part of our community call in and share their different perspectives on this particular case. So again, I implore you to go check out that conversation that we had before. I will drop the call link for those that weren't able to share their thoughts and you want an opportunity. Mods, how many likes have we gotten to? Let me know how many likes that we've gotten to. I'm going to drop the call and link again for the general audience. Yes, shout out to actually, let me drop it for members first because it's not a part of the membership, but I will drop it for the general audience, the members first. So you have the link. But again, we gotta be quick because I've already been here long enough. But we did have some breaking news. That is what Candiace had to say. The Osefos have spoken out in regards to a statement. We have found out that Wendy will not be a part of Wife Swap. She will not be a part of Wife Swap. They have removed her. All right, we got 4,000 of you here. We need to at least get to 1,000 likes. Let me know when we get to 1,000 likes. Angel said, how was dinner? Dinner was good. I still have more. I kind of scarfed some of that down, and then I saw we had some more updates in regards to Wendy, and they've now spoken out. So we're gonna get into what you guys are saying in regards to these updates. Let me say, Squirtle, thank you so much for another super chat and for a pen win. We appreciate that. Damn, another live. Love, did you eat? Thank you for all you do. I did eat. I did. I had a little pizza. But I still have some leftovers. So after this, I think I worked up enough appetite. So thank you, Squirtle, for the super chat. Hey, Miss Judy. Judy says, Kent's always working. Member for 47 months. Judy's a member here on YouTube, and she's a subscriber on my TikTok. So, and a mod. So thank you to Judy. Candiace, thank you so much for another super chat. Candiace says, Diddy and the Housewives had Kempire working during his vacation. I mean, Diddy's part of the reason why I didn't go on vacation this year. Because you remember I was covering that case. We have a whole playlist for those that may have missed it. But it's all right. It's not like I haven't had a good time on my trip. So, and then tomorrow, don't expect anything. Oh, again, I do have Housewives of Miami. Well, we'll see. At least there is a time difference, so I can go enjoy my day and then come back and be a fool with y'all. Anuli, thank you so much for the super chat. Again, guys, you can support just by liking the video. You can support by sharing. You can support by telling a friend to tell a friend about what we do here. We don't just talk about Housewives. We just happened today to be talking a lot about Housewives. We talk about everything in pop culture. As we just mentioned, we covered the Diddy case as well. And we just recently covered in regards to his sentencing, which he received 50 months. And we'll be covering this court case in regards to if it goes to court, because they could end up, based off the evidence against them, they could end up taking a plea deal. I mean, you can say what you want about them. I could see them being a lot smarter than this, but you never know. Anuli says, the evidence is damning, and I'm really annoyed with this. Another Nigerian scamming, but she likes to always speak about their education. Oh, guys, please understand, in every culture there are scammers. I know there is the stereotype about Nigerians, but I don't want this to become like, oh, see, typical Nigerian. There are all kinds of scammers. If you really want to start doing the stats on it, please understand. Squirtle, thank you so much for another super chat. Squirtle says, Bravo did another wife swap. They swapped Karen and went, damn, you know what, Squirtle, are you a comedian? Because not another wife swap, shoot. Noda Queen, thank you so much for the super chat. Noda Queen says they couldn't pay a cousin to dress up like a burglar. The greed. I don't know, but then again, they would be, let's not encourage this, because then now they would be implicating another person. like Jussie apparently did. But y'all saw the documentary, like maybe Jussie was innocent. Dibby, thank you for another super chat. Dibby says it's giving, oh no, we read this. It's giving the Chrisleys. It definitely is giving the Chrisleys, but some people think Chrisleys are innocent too. Kataman says, hey, thank you for the super chat, Kataman. Hey, there were rumors during 5 or 6 that Wendy was over $1 million in student loans debt. I wonder if this is a part. Also, part of the court document said that maybe the reasoning behind their insurance fraud was because they were in substantial debt. I'm sure between all those degrees, there is a lot of student loan debt. And then also trying to keep up with the Joneses. You're on this reality show. Part of me really does feel bad for her, because I think it's not even just between the fans. I think it's also production and the network that are sort of like, yeah, we got to show this fabulous life and this fabulous lifestyle. I mean, I don't think we necessarily got a fabulous lifestyle from Wendy, but she always looked fabulous. Naturally Tan, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate your support. Brycey, thank you so much for being a member for 31 months. Brycey says, Kempire, you are dedicated and we appreciate you. Thank you so much, Brycey. I appreciate that. That does really motivate me to keep working hard when you guys appreciate it. I mean, you don't have to send a super chat, but I appreciate the kind words. Alejandro says she should have gotten advice from Dorit or Erica. I always have to say this. Dorit and Erica have not been charged with anything, but they've been accused of things. Okay. Nicole, thank you so much for the super chat. Nicole says, being from the DMV, Carroll County is MAGA. They're going to eat them alive. They wait for moments like this for POCs to trip up. Just that. Ooh, I didn't think about that, because, was it Nicole that called in and mentioned that Carroll County is very, MAGA. So this might not even really be good for them in regards to this. Lord have mercy. Thank you, Ms. Brooklyn, for being a member for 45 months. Some of you that are in the 40-something month of, oh God, it's almost like Diddy's 50 months. So that means y'all gonna be here. Y'all been here for over 4 years. Thank you so much for the super chat, for being a member. Ms. Brooklyn says she better say that is a duplicate to the real ring. People do that. I mean, aren't there ways for confirming that? Don't diamond rings like that have numbers attached to them? I don't know, because I don't have a diamond ring yet. When the billionaire gets me one, I'll let you know. Fatty Back Soup says, thank you for the super chat. Why didn't Wendy consult Dorit before committing the burglaries? Y'all gotta stop. She's never been charged, Dorit. The serial number, thank you. Doesn't the serial number come with the diamond ring? Turner says, yes, they do. So then there's that. We also don't know what the police and the DA know. I'm sure a lot of those things were ran, but we shall see. Powerful, thank you so much for being a member for 49 months. These are the real OGs. She's going on 50 months as a Diddy's sentence right over here. I know Wendy's mother is somewhere hiding, or not. I know she's probably not going to any of the local functions, like, where all the mothers like to brag and things like that. That's, Lord, we got bigger fish to fry at the end of the day. All right. Please keep in mind the opinions of the callers do not represent the opinions of myself, the Kempire LLC, or our sponsors, and everything that they say is alleged and in of their opinion. Okay. Tiffany says, Kempire live again. I am. And it's quite late. It's 11:30 p.m. here in the Europe cities. I wonder if, with all these allegations, if this is going to make people look at Wendy differently during the season. And for those that are just joining us, Wendy will no longer be a part of Wife Swap. Her episode is supposed to be the first episode coming out next week. And apparently they're going to push it back and remove her episode, basically. And so the premiere will be October 21st. I mean, it might be in her best interest. It wouldn't shock me if she is the one who wanted it, because who knows what is seen on camera in regards to the stolen items. It might be in her best interest that they not show this. It also could be the network trying to protect themselves. We can't show anything that might have been picked up in that house. That's very interesting to me that they decided to push that back. But now that the more I think about it, I'm like, they're probably trying to protect themselves legally, but also probably trying to look out for Wendy. So they apparently spent the night in jail because they were arrested yesterday and they were released today on $50,000 bond each. Mrs. Cree, thank you so much for the super chat. With all those degrees between the both of them, they couldn't come up with a better scheme. I'm going to leave that alone. Melinda, thank you so much for the super chat. Melinda says, if they go to jail, does this mean Wendy doesn't have to buy her mom those surgeries she asked for last season? Y'all are really, is there a full moon? Is Mercury in retrograde? Y'all are on one lately. At least today, y'all are just here with the jokes. Here with the jokes. I thought you were going to ask a sincere question, Matilda. I thought you were going to ask, like, I thought you were going to ask about the children, like, if they go to jail, what's going to happen with the kids? I don't know if they're going to even get jail time. I mean, we will have to see. Again, we don't know. Mari, thank you so much for the super chat. Mari says, if Wendy's mother is upset, it's because she can't get her allowance. Well, so a sidebar, it makes me think, you remember last season when Wendy was talking about the children having trusts and things like that? I don't know if that was true. And if it was true, did they touch the trust? I don't know. It really just kind of makes you look at is the money funny? Okay. TA says, TA, thank you for bringing it up again. She says, what happened with Wendy's stylist? All of Wendy's dirt will surface now. No. I just put it out there during my last video. I said, it's so interesting, the timing of everything. She also changed her stylist as well. She's no longer working with the stylist that, we've mentioned before. She's worked with that stylist for years now. I thought that was interesting timing as well, but you never know. Look, it could just be coincidence. Especially when you think about what they're being accused of. But all right. Moving along. Okay. We had a couple more super chats, but we have quite a few people backstage. So let me get through these super chats. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat. This is probably Kendra's been helping buy all my dinners while I've been here in the Europe cities. Kendra says Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie may have starred in The Simple Life, but they had more than enough money. Let's normalize living within our means. And also, this is why I'm so wary of, because I know the fans of Bravo are always saying, oh, we want to see them living these luxurious lives. And I tell you, I just need interesting personalities. Yes, if you have a luxurious lifestyle because you naturally have that, fine. I don't need that, because I feel like that does put pressure on these housewives to give you a falsity. Thank you, Miss Shimmy. Thank you, Ms. Brooklyn, for the super chat, $20 super chat. You would think with Eddie being a lawyer, he knows to not put anything in writing and say nothing to no one. Yeah, because those emails were pretty damning. But a lot of people said that he's not a practicing attorney. Yes, he has his degree, but they haven't seen him practice in a long time. And look, as someone that has worked with thousands of attorneys, not all attorneys are the same. I know we have amazing Black female attorneys that call in and that are brilliant and that we've collaborated with here on the channel before too. Shout out to Kirsten Brown. I know we know a lot of beautiful Black smart attorneys. However, as someone that has worked with thousands of attorneys, they're all not that smart. I wouldn't be shocked at some of the attorneys that I've worked with. And I'm not even talking about I'm talking about temp attorneys. I'm not talking about ones that work for the actual law firm. But them too, look, some of them too, they're not all that smart. Just all right. Taurus with the T is saying disconnected. Device is disconnected. I'll give you a second. There we go. Okay. Keep in mind, the opinions of the callers do not represent the opinions of myself, the Kempire LLC, or our sponsors, and everything that they say is alleged and of their opinion. Let's bring up Taurus with the T first. Taurus with the T. Oh, hold on. Oh, it says device is not connected again. Oh, wait. There we go.
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
Hi again. So now after thinking about this for the last hour, I was thinking, I hope that if they take this to trial, since these are technically criminal charges, I hope they do not start telling on each other and saying who plotted what. Because I was thinking about that. I was like, just thinking back to that preview of the new season where Wendy and Ashley are in that salt room and Wendy breaks down saying like, oh, he doesn't love me and stuff like that. Oh my God, I hope.
She was asked about that recently. She wouldn't say, but it's not Eddie, it's about her father.
Okay. I hope they don't take it all the way down to the mud. I think if anything, they need to strategically come up with a plan about how the kids are going to be taken care of, because this is really terrible things that they are doing, they have no leg to stand on for any excuses. They were making money. They are degreed multiple times. And one thing I absolutely do not want to see them do is pull a Karen and use any mental health issues or any life stressors, because if you live within your means, baby, which normal people who are not on TV do it every single day, we do not go out there defrauding companies or people. Hey, Jen Shaw. We try to keep it together. So I do not want to hear anything, especially also about any, like coming from an immigrant family and being the first person in your family to have accomplished a lot of things. I don't want to hear any of that. I want to see them take accountability, and I want to see them come up with a strategic plan of how the kids are going to be taken care of if they have to face prison time. And I did actually look into what Mia was saying about Wendy. And I just want to say, Mia, you have a lot of gall for mentioning anything about Wendy when you were on the show. Everybody was questioning Gordon, his company, and what part you were playing in the company. So I do want to give them grace, but this is too juicy, Kempire. I cannot.
I actually have the clip of Mia, so I'm going to play that really quick.
She just messaged me a couple of days ago. She's one of the the only ones who is like, I'm so proud. What she said was, God has you covered, right? So I need a second.
I get it.
Mind you, this is someone that actually knows Wendy. Yes, they haven't always been in the best place, but you grinning and laughing on social media. I always feel like Mia's one step away from her own charges, but that's just me.
I opened my phone. I had no idea it was even going on, and I'm like, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm very, very shocked because I felt Miss 4 Degrees had it together. Okay? I thought she had it together. I mean, isn't Eddie an attorney, for heaven's sakes? Like, what the? Excuse my language. Can I literally?
That's what Mia had to say earlier today. All right. The other thing that I showed you while the press conference was happening, shout out to our friends over at Bravo Snark Side. I did get the photos of the said ring that they're alleging that she claimed that she lost, however, was photographed later with the said ring. So you can see here, for those that are watching, for those that are listening, it's a ring where she's on a red carpet. She's wearing a beautiful dress. Look, she's gorgeous. Apparently she was at, what event is this? The WHCA press event. And you can see the dates that are circled here. April 12th of 2024. That's after the alleged burglary. After. Let me actually take this disclaimer down so you can see the full dates there. So, okay, Wendy, like evidence is pretty damning, but we're gonna continue to follow this. Okay. All right. Let me get to the rest of these callers, please, and hold. Everyone just minimize. There we go. All right. Let me take this down. There we go. Let me just say thank you. We had a couple more super chats. Tony says, got the nerve to be questioning Stacey's character. Stacey's going to have a field day at the reunion, because that's the thing. Now, come the reunion, she could be like, this and this and this. Like, you ain't got no room to be questioning my character right now. But I don't think we were worried about Stacey. She's handling them this season. But we hear that Stacey during the season is very much alienated from the group. Hold on, y'all. Let me close this out. Okay. Let me go here. Mr. Melon Magic, thank you so much for the super chat. Mr. Melon Magic says, Mia was laughing on live, a forgotten dancer who is a shoemaker's worst Shoemaker's worst nightmare needs to be quiet. Wendy's wig game is better than Janice Combs. Oh my God. Miss V, thank you so much for the super chat. Miss V says, I don't even watch these people, meaning Real Housewives, but you and your community had me cackling at work, so I'm watching. Keep doing what you do. Thank you, Miss V. I can't with y'all right now. All right, let me get to the rest of these callers. All right, and I just dropped the call link for members. Mods, have we reached over 1,000 likes? I'll drop the call link for the general audience. We have over 3,000 of you here, though. So watching on multiple platforms. We're live on Twitch, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, we're live on X. Make sure you guys are following me. All right. All right. Race is not a shoemaker's worst nightmare. I was not ready for that. All right. Candiace is backstage. We're going to bring Candiace up next. Candiace, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, how are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for the comment that you made about not painting all Nigerians with the same brush. We got to
Mhm,
remember Wendy and Eddie did this.
mhm,
So, as Black people, people of color, we don't like it when we're painted with one brush.
mhm.
Our diaspora is huge. You
Yep.
know, the country of Nigeria didn't do this. Nigerians didn't do this. Wendy and Eddie did this. So, please, we just got to be careful with that. Second of all, I was reading through the court documents. They were just messy because the police were like measuring like the distance from the window to the toilet. They were looking, they said, Wendy and Eddie said, no, we didn't touch anything, but there was no debris left anywhere. The deck furniture wasn't moved. Like, and then her wearing the ring, and it was the White House Correspondents Association that she was when that was the picture of the ring that
Mhm.
you were talking about. Her
Yep.
connections to the White House, that's an invited event. So you remember she interviewed John Corinne Pierre last season. So she has a connection to, the Biden Harris administration. It's just for the way Wendy perceives herself and her being in these rooms and doing this is just a bad look
Mhm.
altogether. And I am too. I'm concerned about her kids because they're young. And like the other member said, Carroll County is very MAGA. I live down the street from Carroll County. It's
Oh.
very MAGA. A lot of orange signs in the lawns. So she
Mm.
gotta, we just gotta be careful. We gotta be careful. But that's it. Hope you get to enjoy your vacation tomorrow.
Thank
Take some
you,
time off, at least 25 hours.
I know, Lord.
All
Thank you,
right.
Candice. Take care. Bye. And shout out to all of you that hit me up, including my fellow content creators, in regards to this story. I was literally talking with multiple content creators that hit me up. We were talking about some other stuff, but then all of this happened too. So it was kind of interesting. But I would literally enjoy my day. I went out, was doing like a little shopping and stuff like that because I love Christmas, and apparently Europe starts Christmas pretty early. So for those of you that were judging me about starting Christmas early or talking about Christmas early, at least I'm not decorated. Literally the streets overnight. I'm seeing here in Amsterdam them putting up the angel lights and things like that. So maybe I need to move to Europe. They understand me. All right, Toya's backstage. We're gonna bring Toya up next. Toya, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire. I just wanted to say really quickly, I thought that Mia's response was just so disgusting, especially her saying that Wendy is the only housewife that still speaks to her and that she had wished her well 2 days prior. Like,
Mhm.
wow, you couldn't just keep it cute and say, I'm just going to wish her well the same way she wished me well. Like, wow, Mia,
Candace
that would
did.
have
You saw
been
Candace
the
handle
nice
it.
thing to do. Huh?
You saw Candace handle it.
Yes, but I think that came out like immediately, like right after the news broke. So I really don't think she knew much. But
Yeah.
people were in the comments saying like Candace is trying to defend her. She's trying to be a good friend.
Yeah, yeah.
But Mia, just truly nasty, truly disgusting. All she had to do was say, I'm gonna wish her well the same way she wished me well 2 days ago. And that's that.
But it's Mia.
But but that's Mia. And Mia, we don't want to see you in Atlanta. And you lucky that you didn't get charged for they just kicked Gordon off the board and kicked him out of his so-called own company, Miss CEO. And then
Mhm.
people didn't know who you were. Okay. The CEO walk into my building. We know. We looking and we up front and we looking. Okay. Anyway, Campire, enjoy the rest of your trip. You never stop working, and we appreciate you for working hard on these YouTube streets, honey.
Thank you so much,
Bye
Toya.
bye.
Have a good night. All right, let's bring up Life with Leah. Oh, hold on. There we go. Life with Leah. What did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, I'm telling you, you need to add a couple more days onto your vacation because you're just working so hard. I wanted to bring up a good, very serious point that was in the comments that people were kind of comparing, like, what's going on with, Potomac women. We got Karen going to jail. We got, now we got the Osefos going to jail. We cannot compare the two, and this is my opinion. You cannot compare the two because Karen, even though she had 4 DUIs, She has an illness. She has a sickness. It's alcoholism. She has an addiction. So the Cephos, on the other hand, with their 4 degrees, 5 degrees, 6 degrees, and multi-million dollars of student loans, which they could have got forgiveness for, they calculated that scheme that they needed Todd to bring to us with the BS. Todd could have put up a better scheme than that. And they were educated enough. They should not have made those choices. And so therefore we cannot compare Karen's situation, even though it's a choice for her to drink, but it's an illness. It's an illness. What illness do they have? Narcissism? Like they thought they were gonna be smart enough to fake this allegedly this fraudulent insurance fraud scheme. Unacceptable.
We don't
Let
know.
us.
There could be an addiction issue. We don't know yet.
Ah, okay, I hear you. I
I'm not
hear
saying that
you.
there is. I'm just saying that could come out later.
That you know what? Maybe they got too happy with Happy Eddie. You just never know. So I appreciate everything that you do, Kempire. It's been a long time. I really count it an honor and privilege whenever I get a chance to talk to you live.
Thank you so much,
Be
Leah.
safe out there in those streets. All
Thank,
right.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.
I'm not gonna be out nobody's streets. I'm in for the night. It's almost midnight here in Amsterdam. All right. We have a few callers backstage. I did drop the call-in link for the general audience as well. Let me say thank you again. Kendra, thank you so much for another super chat. Kendra says, remember, just because people have book sense does not mean that they have common sense or street smarts. Very clearly here. Squirtle, thank you so much for another super chat. Mia needs to stay MIA. You know she hasn't since she left the damn show. Lord. Miss Creekery, thank you so much for the super chat. Speak for yourself. Want to see Mia in Atlanta? No, Miss Creekery, no one wants to see that. No one wants to see that. Samari, we're going to bring you up next. Samari, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire. Samari here from Chicago. I'm a first-time caller.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you. Hold on, let me pull my notes up because I have a lot to say.
Okay.
First of all, the mugshot. I think they look crazy. I'm trying to figure out, like, is it just Happy Eddie? Because I feel like it looked worse than weed. Um, Also, I don't understand why they would do this to get notoriety from people like the cast of Potomac. Like, if you're doing insurance fraud so that you can keep bags and rings, why are you trying to impress Giselle and Robin and Monique? You have so much notoriety from the White House to Kamala Harris. You're on MSNBC. You're a professor. What is the point of scamming for bags? On top of that, I do feel a little bit vindicated because not to pocket watch. But Wendy and Eddie seem to be like the second wealthiest on Potomac after like Karen, well, third after Monique. But I never understood how it added up because I don't think that professors and lawyers make enough for Wendy to have multiple Birkins and a big ass house and like 100,000 in each kid's trust fund. It just seems like a little bit much to me. Um, Candiace is a very good friend. Mia will do anything for clout. I think what she did or what she experienced in her youth like really messed her up in the head because she will literally say and do anything for people to keep Mia's name in their mouths. And it's like, girl, be calm. Like, why are you speaking on Wendy like that? And lastly, you know, I think the worst part about this is that a bad day for Wendy is a good day for Giselle. And I hate to see Giselle happy about other people's misery. Because, you know, Giselle hates Wendy. And I feel like Giselle's probably
We're
somewhere.
best friends now.
Oh,
What are you talking about?
you know, Giselle, that's why her wig is so big. It's full of secrets and lies. So,
God. All right, Samari, thank you so much for calling in.
all right. Thanks, Kemp. Have a great night in Amsterdam.
Thank you. I love how it is Friday night. I should be out dipping it and doing it. Look, what can I do? I don't feel like it though. I'm tired. Look, I'm tired. I don't feel like doing it. All right, Judgy Justice, tomorrow night. Judgy Justice, we're gonna bring up next. Judgy Justice, what did you want to share?
So I have my notebook here. I know a lot of us are concerned about how were they able to pay for this, and my concern is the income. If you're saying that Eddie's no longer working as a lawyer, and she left her job as at Johns Hopkins, what was the money coming in from? Because we understand that with their expenses and the lifestyle, RHOP is not enough. The candles isn't enough. Even the YouTube channel is not enough. And
Mm.
Happy Eddie, unfortunately, is going to have to possibly look at selling or switching owners because of how the restrictions on what they sell. And additionally, the renting of the stylist, the student loans, the big house in the middle of nowhere, they were trying to make this happen. And honestly, I agree with the other callers that this was not a scheme that Todd made up. I'm very disappointed in them because I think they were showcasing true Black love, being successful, educated people. I'm hoping that this isn't true and that there is some sort of mistake here. But based on what's been shared, it seems like it's very intentional, and this is my opinion. So I'm wishing them the best. I hope their children, are getting prepared for life without them, because Maryland does not play at all.
Ooh.
Especially not with fraud. Maryland's not going to play. And even given with the charges of it being insurance fraud, they could see federal charges later on if if the state decides to give it up to the federal, if they don't decide to plea down, hopefully. And even if you have federal charges, state can still prosecute you. So we'll see what happens, but rooting for them, and I'll let somebody else talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Justice. Lord. Okay, it's me, MK. We're going to bring up next. It's me, MK. What's going on? What did you want to share?
I am just so shocked. I legit could not believe what I saw when I saw it. I feel really, really sad for the situation, not necessarily for them, but just the situation itself is just really sad. And I think this is a good thing for parents to think about the pressures they put on their children unknowingly, and the length that children will go to perhaps exude the fact that, like, yeah, we're wealthy, we're rich, we're doing really well. Because I feel like the pressure her mom puts on her to be the best and to, oh yeah, my child gives me an allowance and I want this surgery next and that surgery next. It puts this pressure on you, especially if you know you're not making that much. You guys already have a debt, but you have to, keep trying to be a good daughter. And I read somewhere that someone was saying, people clown Giselle for having like bad fashions and like a house that isn't all that, but there's nothing wrong with that. Giselle lives within her means, and we need to normalize that. And I know it's all about like watching, people who have a lifestyle that's different than yours, but not if you can't afford that lifestyle. I'd rather watch a Giselle, because she's fabulous in other ways, than watch someone who's scheming and scamming to try and put up false heirs, So I just hope like parents are taking note of this. Don't put your kids under immense pressure, and that people are just learn to live within your means. There's nothing wrong with TJ Maxx and Marshalls and all that. There's nothing wrong with Macy's. Like, just don't, if you can't afford it, don't buy it. Don't cheat, don't lie, don't steal to get money. At the end of the day, them facing 15 years, is it worth it for the amount of money that they're allegedly are purported to have stolen or wanted? Like, is it worth it? Almost $500,000. Like, is it worth it going away for potentially 15 years for $500,000? So, yeah.
All right. Thank you, MK, for calling in. All right. Again, guys, we have a long line. So short and shady. Right now, Nota Queen will be our last member that's called in, but everyone else, you got to be short and shady, even if you got the members link later. But Nota Queen will be our last member that can sound off like this, but everyone else, you'll have to be short and shady. Nota Queen, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
I just, now that the wheels are turning and everything, I do wonder if there's more than Happy Eddie involved, because this just doesn't make sense. Like, I understand book smarts doesn't equate to street smarts, but Eddie is a lawyer. Even if he's not practicing any of that, he passed the bar, and these are simple civilian mistakes that they're making in this. So I just can't wrap my head around how or why they've done such like silly, like an email. Come on, that's ridiculous. He should know better. But I also was in the middle watching your last live, so I don't know if you guys talked about it, but I did see somebody comment about how Giselle was, drops nuggets about certain people. You got to pay attention. And that also reminded me back to the premiere episode during that live when I was saying that Giselle and Robin were right about Booty Drop Wendy not being the real Wendy, because she changed. Like after the first season, she went and got a new body, new hair, new wardrobe, was Booty Drop Wendy. Then they called her out for it. Then the next season, new hair, new wardrobe. I don't know if she got any more tweaks, but again, she keeps, chasing after things. And that was essentially what Giselle and Robin were saying. They just put a little too much extra sauce on it. But they were right, because we've never seen Booty Drop Wendy again. And the next season, I think we got a little closer to the real Wendy, but we can see in real time that she's chasing a lifestyle that isn't really hers to have. And, potentially her husband is too.
Okay. All right. Know the Queen for calling in. Thank you for calling in.
No problem.
Take care. All right. Again, everyone that's waiting backstage, short and shady, shorter than Know the Queen, because Know the Queen is a member of the channel. Even if you are a member calling in now, we've cut that off. Okay. All right. Let me say thank you. We had a couple of super chats. Thank you for the super sticker. So Swift 123. We appreciate that. Candiace, thank you so much for the super chat. Candiace says, just a point of reference, the Baltimore City State's attorney was also convicted on fraud. Maryland does not play. Ooh, not the state attorney. Oh my gosh. How much time did you get, Candiace? Lord. Aisha, thank you so much for being a member for 35 months, living within our means era. I know that's right. And now I have to, if you go to Chinatown, you get a dupe. Or you go to China and get the dupe. You don't got to pay those full prices. Keith, thank you so much for the super chat. Keith says, didn't they create Happy Eddie last season? It's very possible that they leveraged the fraud money to multiply their current investment. Well, that's illegal. If that's the way that they decided to do it. But who knows? Who knows? No, it wasn't last year that they did Happy Eddie, because Happy Eddie was at BravoCon, like the merch and everything like that. So no, Happy Eddie's been around at least 2 years. Rasa, thank you so much for the super chat. Rasa says, sounds like a scheme that Todd set up. You know what? Poor Todd. Ziggy, thank you so much for becoming a member. We appreciate your support. You also can become a member, teamkempire.com/join. Taurus with the T, thank you so much for the super chat. Taurus with the T says, as someone who has over $130,000 in student loans, I would never make choices that would flush my 8 years of post-high school education down the drain. Woo, Taurus with the T. Woo, you just spread your own tea. Lord. All right. Hold on, Lee. I got to bring up Michael first because he's ahead of you. Michael, what do you want to share?
Hey, Campfire. All right. I was gonna say a lot about stereotypes, but I feel like I'm just not gonna touch that. I'm just gonna say it hurts me to my heart because Dr. Wendy inspired me so much to go that I went back to school so that I could brag about having degrees like her. And to see this happen, it just shows that sometimes we get lost with greed. You know what I'm saying? Because she didn't have to do this. But thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Michael. All right, let's bring up Lee next. Lee, what did you want to share?
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. When I first saw this, I thought this was fake. I literally thought it was like a Halloween prank or something. And I'm very disappointed in her. Especially, I was doubting it. I was like, nah, this is, trumped up charges or something. Then the evidence, then the email. Oh, okay. So my only thing is they get this large check every year. Even if Eddie's not working, that's still a lot more money than people with dual income bring in. My thing is, what are you doing with this money that you get every year for working for 3 months? So that's my only thing. I want to know why housewives put themselves in these positions, that they feel like they have to do fraud, and that should be studied. If she wasn't going to jail, she could have did a class on that, but
And she's supposed to be doing a class on reality television for
hey,
enough knowledge.
that needs to be studied. Like, why are we living above our means? Why do you feel like you have to present yourself to live above your means? That's something. And set a good example. We want Black excellence. That does not include fraud. It includes just you being yourself, Black and beautiful and smart. That's it.
All right. Thank you so much, Lee, for calling
All
in.
right. Have fun out there. Bye.
Thanks. There's always this side of me that always thinks to myself, did they do this for a storyline? But then I'm like, would they really risk jail time for a storyline? I just want to put it out there. I just had the thought. Because, you see what happened with Karen. Even though Karen went away for like 6 months, she's now coming back and, still secured her job. Just want to put it out there. Ace, what did you want to share in regards to this update?
Hi, Kempire. Thank you for doing this live on your vacation. I'll be brief. I wanted to just say when I saw the news, I was like, I literally gasped out loud. I was like, what? There's a lot of dark energy around this story. I'm a little bit sensitive to these sorts of things, I feel. But like I maybe because like Wendy seems so relatable in terms of like you see a successful black woman, there's lots of us out there, but to see her to have such success in her family, it was just very great to see that example put on TV given her background. So it's just really sad to see that you really don't, I mean, we say this all the time, but you don't know people. And there had to have just been a lot of sadness for them to allegedly go to these lengths. So I'm
Yeah.
feeling grateful in my contentment right now. I hope others do as well because it's just not worth it to want fame to this extent. So thank you.
Thanks, Ace. All right, let's bring up Kiki next. Hold on. Kiki, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. Finally, I was on the first live announced this, so I was like, I need to talk to you. And earlier, you had to get your lunch, so I was like, snap, I'm not gonna.
My dinner, Kiki.
Your dinner. I'm so sorry. Yeah, you're in Ireland. I'm sorry, I forgot. But you know what? I just feel so sad. Like it really, honestly, like this is quite sad. And for me, the lesson of the day goes to tell you, like, just be always content. As I've grown older and I'm maturing every day, I'm very, very intentional about the circle I keep. If I feel like I have to meet up with a friend that I feel like I have to put my most expensive bag or put on this persona to be around you, then I don't want to do it. I'm very intentional about who and the circles I mingle with. If I feel like you're not gonna accept me for who I am, then we don't need to be friends. Whether I'm wearing a Primark bag today or whether I'm wearing like a Birkin or whatever, it doesn't matter. And this, for me, it's all of like just trying to keep up. They had it good and they just could have been content and didn't have to keep up with anybody, just be themselves. So this is so sad, honestly. But yeah, thanks, Vampire.
Thank you, Kiki, for calling in. All right, let's bring up, guys, for those that just joined us, we're taking callers. Candiace did get back to me. Candiace says, Kempire, she got sentenced to 12 months of home confinement, 100 hours of community service, and 3 years of supervised release. I mean, I don't know, because we're following up on a comment that Candiace said that the state attorney in Baltimore City ended up getting jail time for, ended up being indicted very similar to Wendy. But again, we don't know the charges that were against and the evidence against, or if there was a plea deal or anything like that. But thank you, Candiace, for the update. Ooh. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat. Kendra says the only thing missing from the lives today is your sound effects in the background. We're going to have to buy you a mobile soundboard machine. That's just another thing for me to pack. I'm already like overpacked. But yeah, it's good to know that you guys miss my sound effects because some people do not like them, but most of you do. Because can you imagine the amount of thunder and lightning and just say it. All right, Jess is backstage. Let's bring Jess up next. Jess, what did you want to share?
Yeah, I just want to say, like, as a Wendy supporter, this is like very, very emotional news in a sense because this could really happen to anybody. And there's something that my father always says. It's called crime of opportunity. If you're out at night, like, there's a possibility of crime that could either happen to you or you can get in a dangerous situation. And so it seems as if, like, even if the robbery is real, that they probably saw this as an opportunity to maximize the benefits. And a lot of people do these type of things, like where they might say, "Oh, let me claim this on my taxes. Like, let me claim this item. Let me claim that this is a business trip and all that." And these are things that, like, if you have a little bit of spotlight, it can get you in a dangerous situation. So I'm just praying for the kids that, like, I'm thinking about the fact that when they got arrested, their kids were at home sleeping, and
Mm.
that is
Well,
so.
it's the afternoon, so they probably weren't.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it's just horrible all around. But that's it.
Thank you so much, Jess, for calling in.
No problem.
Bye. It's the kids that I think a lot of people are concerned for. Oh, wait, Dr. Nini says the state attorney in Baltimore City was charged with mortgage fraud. Oof, Lord have mercy. All right, we have like 3 more callers, guys, and then we're gonna wrap this up. But if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel but other channels as well. We're giving you another update. We did a first live earlier today with the breaking news that Dr. Wendy Osefo and her husband Eddie Osefo were arrested for fraud, and they're facing multiple charges. 16 for Wendy, 18 for Eddie Osefo. They had a press conference today in regards to the police department had a press conference. Eddie and Wendy have released a statement. People are weighing in, including Mia, Candiace. A lot of people, our audience is weighing in as well. Destiny's backstage. We're going to bring Destiny up next. Destiny, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. Thanks so much for having me. Destiny from Detroit. Also, thank you for the unbiased commentary.
Oh, thank you.
So I went through 3 phases. First, I was shocked, and then I became shook, and then sad, and then a little bit shady. So I guess the shady part of me understood that when Dr. Wendy came on, like, I was a champion for her. Everybody was a champion for her. We loved her. And then all of a sudden she became, I guess, for lack of better words, materialistic. And I kept wondering, I'm like, if her and Giselle are in the same sorority, which I am in as well, I'm like, why is she being so distant and not putting up a united front? But then I recognize, being on the inside, sometimes publicly you distance yourself from people when you know insider info. So to the point, another caller had mentioned, she felt like Giselle kind of knew something about people and was kind of like dropping hints. Yeah, being an insider, that's one of those things where it's kind of like, when you know something up, you're not gonna put up a total united front. But that was, just my thought, kind of being on the inside of the sorority. I was like, wow, she's just like not repping, making us look bad. But now I kind of see a little bit of it, and a little disappointed because I love Dr. Wendy.
You remember when Wendy first came on, though, there were some like rumors about her and things like that. So that now y'all are making me start to think.
Yeah.
I
But
think there's a lot that's not shared from the ladies on the show, and maybe it was shared and it's not put in the edit. But I'm sure those Potomac women know a lot of stuff about each other that they just don't bring to the show always.
Yeah, I hate she got caught up in this scandal, but looking forward to kind of seeing how it unfolds. Hopefully, it's actual positive news and maybe something got messed up.
Right? You never know. I mean, I'll be happy about it and I'll report on it too.
Yeah. But like I said,
that.
Shook and shocked and sad all at the same time. But thank you so much. Keeping it short.
Thank you so much, Destiny. Take care. Bye. All right. Let me bring up April Aries next. April Aries.
Hi, good evening, Kempire. How are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm good. So earlier there was a caller, I forgot what their name was, where they were talking about how they'll let Target build up a case. And so to spill a little bit of tea about where I'm from in Florida, I won't say the teacher's name, but it was an educator, and she was stealing from Target, and they let her, and they let her build up everything. And then that's when, they officially dropped the hammer, no pun intended, on her. And apparently it wasn't her first time doing it. Mm-hmm. And so what the caller has said last time, where places like Target, they will let you keep doing it until they build the case. And I used to work in Allstate as a call rep for like insurance and house, and you have to be very meticulous about what you say and report, because we are taking down all the information. And then once your adjuster gets assigned to that case, you have to be very careful, because they're looking at every single little thing that you're doing just to make certain that it checks out. Because if it doesn't, it's definitely going to come back on you. Just like whenever, just to spill a little bit of my tea, when I was in college, someone took my card information from the Tropical Cafe smoothie. And I was like, what? And rent was due. I said, hold up. I said, SunTrust. I said, you need to get this figured out. And they literally did like an investigation and everything. And they'll give you the money back. But the key is you have to wait until the investigation is done. And again, like I was saying, making certain that all your information is correct. Luckily for me, I'm not a criminal. So everything worked out and I got my money back. So I'm just at loss of how they didn't think that there would be a paper trail. I'm hoping for the best and that they learn from this and that the kids, are going to be okay. But yeah, I just wanted to weigh in with that 2 cents from like my work experience from Allstate, and then personally being affected, like from someone stealing my card information. I was like, joke's on you, because I paid my rent and I got a new card. So there was that.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good day, Kempire.
Thank you. All right. Elijah's backstage. We're going to bring Elijah up next. But before I do that, guys, we have over 1,500 likes. Can we get to 2,000 likes? There's over 3,500 of you watching on multiple platforms. We're live on Twitch, Twitter. We're live on Facebook. We're also live here on YouTube. And if you're listening to the audio version of this on the Kempire podcast, if you're not following us on the podcast, you should subscribe today. While you're there, do me a favor. I get it. Not everyone can send super chats or anything like that, but you can write a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. Go do me that favor. Appreciate it. Kendra, thank you so much for the super chat. Another super chat. Thank you so much for your generosity. Kendra says, Katie Ross official. Was this a tweet? 24 minutes. Wendy, I got a message from someone who asked me to make a statement. I know this is all BS. I am going to send a letter to the president. Keep your head up. Sending love. That's Katie. We're going to continue to pray for Katie, but we appreciate that. Sincerely, thank you so much. Sincerely, Trey, thank you so much for becoming a member. Let's pray for Katie. Okay. Let me bring up Elijah next. Elijah, what did you want to share?
I just wanted to say I'm just so shocked that they actually took off like her episode. But I'm really thinking what I really think it is. I'm sure that they probably asked for them maybe to remove it because I feel that just seeing their house, all the things they have, like because from the trailer it looked like the women were gonna go in the closets and see all the
Yep.
housewifey things. So I'm thinking that they probably removed or asked to remove the episode because I low-key feel like the way Bravo is and how messy they are, they probably would have kept it on. So I feel like they probably asked to remove it, and if so, this situation is crazy. I just feel like it'd be the people you least expect doing something like this that do stuff like this, and it's sad because she got a spinoff. You know what I mean? She was starting to become more. I feel like that's a sign that you're kind of becoming more, um loved by people and stuff like that by the network, even though a lot of people don't like her. But to me, I feel
And
like
she
she's
had a
blowing.
commercial too. You saw that recent commercial with her and her daughter.
Yes. So I'm like, she's blowing up everything. And my thing is this: I feel like it would have been way more honest, and I think people would have probably been more a little bit endeared to her had she been like, "Listen, I'm going through that. I have a lot of stuff going on." You know what I mean? I feel like that, and it will give her a storyline after not having one for a bit. So to me, I feel like she could have went into that and said, "Listen, I need money. I can't, And then with all the endorsements and everything, like it's insane how people blow up the opportunities that they get, and it's sad because I feel like they were given a platform. Also, she is a woman of color. She's a black woman. Like that. So intelligent. It's just crazy to see that. Unfortunately, she's blown up her opportunity. But I mean, I'm sure they'll invite her back to the network just for messy purposes. But I don't know if she'll really come back. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm just shocked.
No. All right, Elijah. Thank you so much for calling in. All right. The other question that I asked during our last live is, do you think she'll actually show up to BravoCon? She is slated to be at BravoCon. I don't know if she can leave the stage. She probably would have to get permission because it is work. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I definitely think she's going to show up to the reunion. But depending on when they film the reunion and where they are with this case, God only knows how much she'll be able to actually say. All right, Alessia is backstage. We're going to bring Alessia up next. Alessia, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. How are you?
Oh, well, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm so shocked. I'm
Yeah.
shocked. I'm appalled, and I'm disappointed. I have to be completely honest. When I read the news, I was actually at work, and then I saw your live. I was like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And then I read everything. I was like, "Oh my god!" I feel like Wendy, like it's similarly to Alexia. Like she literally sold her soul because of the reality TV show. That's what she did. I mean, she had like a wonderful career. She had a doctorate. She has a lot of degrees, and she was like teaching at university. And she did all she did all because of TV. I always had a feeling that also the way she was dressing, like she was trying too hard. You know what I mean? I
Mm.
felt like probably like it was even her personality. I thought it was so fake, but she wanted to be so part of this, and she was going like way beyond what she could afford. So it's really really upsetting. And also for Eddie, I'm a law student, so I'm not a law student in the U.S. in England and Wales. So some of the things that Coco said in the other live you did a couple of hours ago, regarding like if he can be disbarred, Eddie can be disbarred and stuff. It's true. Like also in England and Wales, like we have like our principle, like acting with honesty and integrity. So I mean, there's a lot of felonies. I mean, it's a lot of things that he has to explain. So even though, despite everything has to be like proved beyond reasonable doubt, there's like a reasonable ground for the authority to like disbar him, and it's really sad, like seeing like especially a couple like black dark skinned people that look so successful throwing everything out of the window for a reality show, because that's what they did at the end of the day. So I think it's really really sad, and yeah, it's really sad. I was really like disappointed about like both of them. Yeah, but
Alessia,
that's it.
thank you so much for calling in.
All right, thank you. Bye. Bye, Kempire.
Bye. All right. Again, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. And also don't forget, if you missed it, I dropped by the Humble Brag podcast this past week with Crystal Minkoff and Cynthia Bailey. You can watch it on YouTube. Let's run those numbers up. It's one of their most popular episodes, so be sure to check that out and go leave a comment. You can also hear it on your favorite podcast platforms, so go and leave them a comment as well. Stephen will be our last caller of the night. Stephen, what did you want to share in regards to this Wendy Osefo and Eddie Osefo update about their arrest?
Hey, Kempire, I won't keep you on here long. Thanks for working overtime as usual. I just want to say I was really shocked when I heard this. I really thought like, is this a joke? Is this like April Fool's? But you just never know. But I really just feel sorry for her and the kids, really, because they didn't ask to be in that situation. And I really hope they can learn from this, but you just never know. But that's all I have to say. And enjoy your vacation.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Thanks for calling in. Have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
Bye. Thank you so much, Nyoka. Nyoka says the Humble Brag interview was amazing. No lie. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. It's great when you can have conversations with people that you actually want to have conversations with. So it just happens really naturally. So be sure to check that out if you haven't seen it already. It is very late here, so if I seem a little tired, this is my second live after running around doing stuff today. But yeah, I still have some more. I need to put some stuff away. I'm not even hungry. I can put my leftovers away, but I'm gonna go veg out and watch maybe like an hour or two of television and go to bed. But that is your update. Be sure to check out the first live that we did, giving you the full story on what's going on with Dr. Wendy Osefo and Eddie Osefo. We also gave you an update in regards to the press conference that happened today. Eddie and Wendy have released a statement as well, asking for their privacy. And Mia and Candiace are reacting to this arrest as well. Thank you to our King's Guards. Thank you to our channel members. Thank you to our subscribers. Thank you to those of you watching in the bushes, including the housewives that are watching as well. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday. I will see you all probably tomorrow at some point, because I do want to recap the Housewives of Miami and the Haitian mortician, right? We don't just talk about housewives here on the channel. We talk about everything in pop culture, including your Diddy updates. So be sure to subscribe. Be sure to turn your notification. And don't forget, you can hear all of our live recaps and special episodes on the Kempire podcast. Okay, so if you want to hear me cuss like I did at the Kempire After Dark Philly show, you can hear that as the Apple Podcast exclusive and under Club Kempire. So be sure to check that out. I just dropped a new episode telling you a little bit more about behind the scenes of my trips that I've had the last couple of weeks. So be sure to check that out as well. Thank you all for being here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Bye, y'all.
Here we go now.